Gary Thompson, the sales communication professional, best-selling author and private equity investor, says, master the client conversion ladder and optimize your business success. He continues, many rising stars in business try to get from A to Z in a split second in the client conversion journey. That approach will set you up for frustration, time, money, and effort being wasted. The alphabet has 26 letters. Each letter has great significance in words formation and in human expression. The client conversion process has many steps, and when these steps are overlooked, it negatively influences your ability to attract and communicate with the ideal client. You must invest in breaking through the know, like, and trust barriers that allow you to win in business. He went on to say, the first step in your client conversion journey begins with relationships. 1. Fill the relationship gaps. 2. Leverage relationships to overcome client rejection. 3. And position your brand to stand out in the market. Gary wants you to be successful and invites you to call us today to help you master the client conversion ladder, optimize your brand recognition, and increase the cash flow of your business.
Hi, Stacy. I want to take this time to welcome you into today's podcast of Habits and Money. I am truly excited to be talking with you today because, you are so dynamic. You are into things like cosmetology. You're into things like, purpose-driven leadership and life coaching. And I'm excited to really understand the depths of what you do and how you leverage your platform to impact the lives of people across the world, while at the same time positioning yourself and to build wealth. How are you, Stacy? Great to have you here.
It's good to be here. Thanks, Gary. How are you?
I am phenomenal, and I must say it gives me tremendous pleasure to be talking to you. I feel your energy, and I'm just excited to have my audience feel some of that energy too. I want to begin by asking you, by having you reflect a little bit on your life. Why? Because I do believe that it is in that reflection came something great. I recall in our first conversation, we talk about the fact that you have a 17-year-old child. He's perhaps much bigger now, but he was going through some experiences in his life that made him attempt to commit suicide when he drove the car at 100 miles per hour into a tree. Fortunately, he survived. What I've learned from you is that in your quest to help your son, and this is a true reflection of a mother's love, in your quest to help your son, you didn't only discover tools and processes and systems to transform the life of your son, but you also started a brand. You started a business that can also touch and transform the lives of millions of people across the world. Can we talk about that experience a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the darkest time I've ever faced in my life. It was 5 years ago. My 17-year-old son plummeted into issues with mental health and substance abuse, and he overdosed in our home in January of 2019 and survived. And then 4 months later, attempted to take his own life by running his car into a tree. And at the time, I was a very successful hairdresser in the beauty industry, had established a career that I was really proud of. And I put all of that on hold to take care of my son while he was in the hospital fighting for his life. And during that time, I had some powerful spiritual encounters in the hospital that led me on a journey of self-discovery and prompted me to want to help people in a bigger way. And so I gave up my career in the beauty industry. I wrote a book about the journey with my son and the lessons that I learned from that experience. And then I embarked on the journey of exploring my spirituality and helping people in a bigger way to deal with challenges that they're facing. So I specialize in people going through trauma and through spiritual awakening. I do this in a variety of ways. I'm very public on social media, and I help people from all around the world through readings and coaching and mentorship. And it has been, out of the darkest pain of my life, has come some of the greatest blessings.
Possibilities. Well, I must say, I love what I just listened to, because it really tells me that you are a mother that truly cares about your offspring. And I truly admire that about you. I want to talk a little bit now about your business. You have been in business for about 5 years now. You
Yes.
have started Stacy Brown Consultant Services. Can you just help the public to understand some of project activities, some of the services that Stacy Brown Consultant Services provide?
Yeah. So, when it started, I really didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. I knew that I was intuitive and I knew that I could do readings for people and help them. But then I got certified as a life purpose life coach. I have a Reiki certification. I started exploring all these different avenues for how I could help people. And it ended up being that I could help people in a much bigger way than what I had even anticipated. So I channeled a program that helps people who are on their journey to spiritual awakening. It's a 3-month program that people can work with me weekly. And I help guide them to understand more about why they are the way they are, how their upbringing has impacted them, and then help them come into a phase of understanding what their purpose is here. What am I meant to do? How am I meant to help people? And really shining a light on that. I specialize in helping people who are going through life changes like divorce or career path changes, people who are going through a spiritual awakening or a profound understanding that there's more to this life than just them. And it has given me a wide variety of experiences with people in very different walks of life.
Well, again, I must say, I truly admire the work that you're doing to help people in their spiritual awakening. And I want to say this to you. I want to tell you a little story. I could recall many, many moons ago when I was baptized as a Christian, my pastor came and he said, Gary, your life has greater meaning. You need to find your purpose. And as he said those words to me, I find myself feeling empty because you're in life. You may have a certain degree of success under your belt, but no one ever really taught you about finding purpose. And I do believe that when you're going through life and you don't understand purpose, there is that void and that emptiness that is inside of you. And I do believe that when that void and emptiness is amplified, it can really create a negative, aura around you. So I'm really, really interested to learn more from you in terms of, from your perspective, how important finding purpose is and how easy it is to find purpose in one's life.
I think it's so important to find purpose in your life. And I don't think it's something that everybody does. I think that a lot of people churn about what they're supposed to do or how they're supposed to be and really lose sight of the power of having purpose and understanding why you're here. And I think if more of us understood why we were here, we would be able to do more to make an impact. But because we don't understand that we're here with a purpose, we kind of go about life aimlessly, not really certain of what we're supposed to do or how we're supposed to do it. And that can be a very frustrating place to be.
I totally agree with you. You mind if I add some more to what you're saying?
Yeah.
And you can correct me. I do believe that when you are going through life without a sense of purpose, it is a way in which you deliberately, directly, or indirectly undermine your ability to tap into your greatness. I do believe that when you find purpose, there is where all the magic begins to take place because you're now purpose driven.
Yes.
Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult for people to find purpose?
That's a really good question. I think that we live in a world that is not very awakened, and people go about their day aimlessly and don't really consciously think about having a purpose. And I think when we're doing that, we're living in a state of not being awakened. And when we're in a state of not being awakened, we can't really make an impact because we don't, it's like playing with a loaded gun that you've never shot before. You don't know what you're doing, right? You don't know how to process, how to move forward. You don't know how to be that source of light for people. And I think when we take the time to discover that about ourselves, that's where the power lies. Thing is, a lot of us aren't doing it because we just kind of go about the day mindlessly in the same routine over and over again on repeat. And we're not consciously thinking about what we're putting out there. Kind of like this conversation right now, right? We're in this space where we have the ability to make an impact with the words that we use and the people who are listening to your program. If we just got on here and just randomly started talking about anything, we're not not going to have the impact that we could when we're talking about living your purpose, right? But when we talk about living your purpose, hopefully it's going to stir something in somebody to say, you know what? I've been living my life very closed off. I haven't been in a space of being awakened. I want to be in a space of being awakened. And I think the biggest thing is, how do you accomplish that? How do you do that? How do you live in a space of being awakened? How do you live in a space of being intentional and purposeful with how you live your life? And I think it's about our daily habits. What we do on a day-to-day basis really does have an impact on how we show up in the world. And I'm talking about getting back to the basics. You know, are you meditating? Meditation is a powerful connective tool. Are you journaling? Do you take the time to write about the thoughts that you have and process them? Are you spending time in nature? Are you connecting with the world around you? Those kind of things really make an impact in how we show up in the world.
When you become an influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.
I love that. I love that you talk about habits, because I do believe that habits is something that make you or break you. And you're so right with that. I want us to go just a little deeper into the concept of purpose. One of the things that I have discovered, and I want you to link this back to your business and how your business really help people. One of the things that I've learned is that you can be interfacing with a workforce of people who are bright academically. But what I've also learned is that their ability to perform as an individual in the workforce and in life is a reflection of their sense of self. Because what we are seeing is that many persons, if you can be bright, but then you have a limited belief in self, because you don't know one train you to have that sense of self, that sense of purpose, and that sense of direction. So although you are bright academically, in terms of truly understanding the rich potential that you have to influence and touch and transform people's lives, the absence of that awareness causes you to underperform. In your experience of interfacing with people and interfacing with businesses, how much of what I said correlates with your experience and how people perform in life and perform in business?
Oh, I think that it's significant. And I think it goes back to living a life that's not awakened, not being intentional and purposeful in what you're putting out there. I go back to the same thing. There are a lot of people in this business world, in this business mindset, who get up and their only focus is money. Their only focus is how they're going to make the next dollar. They're not thinking about the impact that they're going to have on another person. They're not thinking about how that impact is going to have a ripple effect. And when we're living consciously and we're thinking clearly about what we're doing, we're thinking about what we're putting out there, that's where we make an impact. So I think there's something to be said for living a life awakened and conscious of what you're putting out there, and recognizing that what you're putting out there has an impact on people in a significant way. This isn't just about making a quick dollar. This isn't about just business. This is about living in a space where you're awakened and you're conscious of what you're putting out there and how you're impacting people. And I think that the more work that we do on ourselves on a day-to-day basis, the more likely we are to show up in the world the way that we're meant to. But I think it's about those daily actionable habits that cultivate a sense of awareness of self. And that awareness of self then allows us to perform in a way where we're living our purpose instead of just existing. And there's a difference. There's a big difference between living your purpose and just existing. And I think so many people in the world just exist and don't really think about the impact that they're having. And for me, the experience with my son brought me into a space of recognizing that I wanted to have a bigger impact on people than what I was already. And in order to do that, I had to show up in a different way, right? I had to show show up as the clearest version of myself. In that self-awareness and in that knowing of who I am and how I'm showing up in the world has allowed me the space to then help people on a bigger level. And I believe it's because of being awakened and being in that state of being conscious and recognizing that there's more to this life than just making a quick dollar.
I want us to focus a little on your book. You have written a book titled Journey to Soul Center, Discovering the Gift of Surrender. Can we talk a little bit about your book?
Yeah, my book was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and yet feels like one of those things that was so divinely led. I mean, I just knew that I had to write a book, and I went through the powerful process of recording the book on audio and having it transcribed into a book. So I did a very different process than what a lot of people do. I didn't sit down and write for months at a time. I did an audio recording and allowed that to be the manuscript for my book. And the book is about my journey through self-discovery, spirituality, religion, and then the awakening that I had through my son's crash and what that did for me in my life. And it brings you through the process of my upbringing into the experience of what happened with my son, and then in the aftermath of what happened and what life looks like now that I have found my purpose. It's a very powerful story.
You have started your business, Stacy Brown Consulting Services. You have been in business for perhaps 5 years now. What is the short and long-term impact that you want to have on your audience?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So short term, I want to inspire them. Okay. I think short term, inspiring other people is powerful. And I love doing that. And I have a variety of ways that I do that. But I would say the first thing is to inspire people in the short term. The long term is to motivate them to change their lives, right? To live in a state of being more awakened, to take actionable steps on a daily basis to cultivating the life that you want, and having those little steps that you take every day build up into a big shift in how you're showing up in the world. You know, I have a client right now who is going through a horrible divorce, and I'm watching her navigate the steps through this divorce. And she spent a lot of time in her marriage not really knowing who she was. She spent a lot of time trying to people please and be what she was expected to be. And I have awakened her in the process of working with her to see that there's more to this life than just being a wife or just being a mother, and getting her to see who she is and getting her to understand why she is the way she is. And from that space of inspiration, then can come the space of consistent change, because she's seeing the results. And so that's just one example of a client that I'm working with currently who's seeing the shift.
Well, I must say that I have that level of confidence in you. I know you have a lot of knowledge. What I also admire about you too, Stacy, is that you are not afraid of rebranding yourself, because before the incident with your son, you were very much involved in psychology. And today you have rebranded yourself, where you focus a lot now on life purpose and life coaching. And I'm also happy that in your pivot, you are also being successful in what you're doing. So I must say I admire you in terms of what you do. As we prepare to wrap up, you spoke early on about habits, and I would love you to share with our audience what are habits that you believe that one needs to have to be successful. And you can also tell us, you know, the habits that you have learned, apply, and master, and to be where you are today with your level of growth and, you know, success that you have experienced.
Yeah, I would say daily habits are a key component to success. I absolutely feel what we do on a day-to-day basis leads us on a journey to either being successful or being sedentary. I'm a big believer in meditation and mindfulness. I think when we take time to meditate and be introspective, we have more clarity on what's happening in our lives. I'm a big advocate of journaling. I feel that there's a lot to be processed through journaling, and I actually designed a journaling technique to help people on their journey. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website, stacy-brown.com, and register your email. It will give you a free template for my journaling technique. I'm a big believer that when we write our words, it gives us a space to process things in a different way. I believe exercise and spending time in nature is also very powerful. Connecting with the earth and the world around you, super important. And moving your body, having an active, consistent discipline of moving your body on a regular basis is super important. So those are just some of the habits that I instill in people and some of the habits that I follow myself.
Awesome. Love that. The last question I want to put to you, or not a question, I want to give you a chance to say anything that you would like to say in terms of your brand, in terms of your journey that I might not have asked. So if there's anything that you want to say that I might not have asked you, I want to give you this chance to say it now.
Thank you. Yeah, I love what I do. I feel very passionate about the way that I'm having an impact on people's lives. And I feel fiercely dedicated to helping people in a bigger way than ever before. I loved the beauty industry. I loved making people look and feel good, but this is like the beauty industry on steroids. I get to help people in a much bigger way, and I get them to see the results and the beauty of who they are. And it's been such a powerful experience to embark on this journey over the last 5 years. I feel like not only am I learning more about other people and what they need, but I'm also learning more about myself and what works for me. And through that, I can have a greater impact on the world around me. I really believe in the power of serving. I believe when we learn lessons along the way, we have a responsibility to pass those lessons on to the people who come after us. And so my greatest desire right now is to take the lessons I've learned and impart that wisdom to other people coming along on the same journey.
Well, Stacy, I must say it has been such a pleasure talking with you today. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing this more often with you, because I know that you have a lot to share. And I know your heart is in the right place.
Yes.
I know that you want to really help people to become awakened, and anything that we can do to help you to achieve your, personal and business expectations. I just want you to know that we're here to give you that support.
Thanks, Gary. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York do more than just support our clients to pitch their businesses to investors access working capital at 0% APR. We also support our clients to grow and scale their businesses faster and cash flow optimize. Pitch Deck 101 LLC recent partnership with 10X Branding Marketing LLC and Global Capital Inc. out of the USA has enabled us to form unique partnership with multiple financial institutions, which means we can do even more to accelerate the success of our clients. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC give you the support you need to pitch to investors, access capital, access new markets and grow and scale your business. Contact us now on 332-235-1099 for a free consultation.